Hello, this is Britt Caswell with another example video. In today's video, I'm covering example 4 from section 9-3 in the SavvasRealize Algebra 1 textbook. The goal of today's video is to multiply radical expressions. Alright, so we're taking two expressions that have radicals and timesing them together. Now understand, when I go to do this, I have to have the same index. Alright, so remember the index is the little tiny number that goes up here. This has to be the same 2 for both of these. Alright, I can't do like a square root with a cube root, for example. And it's actually pretty easy peasy. Alright, so I take the coefficients in front, so the 3 and the 2, those go out front, and I'm going to multiply them together, may as well, into a 6. And then all this stuff that's underneath my radical just gets written out together. So my 5x is 5x. And then you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just right away turn this 15x cubed into 5 times 3 times x times x times x. And now I could just quickly find my pairs and call it good. So I could see a pair of 5s that's going to come out. There's a pair of x's that can come out. And then if you look, I could see I have an x and an x here. They're not necessarily next to each other, but they still make a pair. And so that those can come out of the radical as well. So then what's still left, you know, from this step? I still have a 6 on the outside. And underneath the radical, I still have a 3. And then all that I got to do is multiply all those coefficients together and we call it good. So 5 times 6 is 30, x times x is x squared, and then the square root of 3. Not bad, right? So let's try that again. So first I'm going to multiply my coefficients. So 1/2 of 4 is 2. And then we're going to take our radical and let's start putting stuff. So the 21 is 7 times 3. And then I also have a 7 from here. I'm going to go ahead and just put all my coefficients together and then all my x's, I think. Keep things a little easier. And then x cubed is x, and x squared is x. So those combine to x to the 5th. So if you're doing what I was thinking of doing, where you take one away from it and you divide the even exponent by 2, you could do that as well. So now looking for pairs, I have a pair of 7s. And then I have 2 sets of x's, so I'm just going to call that an x squared when I pull that out. Now what's left? I still have a 2. And underneath the radical I still have a 3, and I still have an x. So 7 times 2 is 14, x squared, root 3x. Alright, so let's try this again. So on this one, there's the 2 that's on the outside of the radical. And then inside my radicals, I have a 12. So that 12 is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, I'm getting it like this. Okay. Now the 18 that's here, let's do yellow. If I break apart 18, it's 3 times 6, and 6 is 3 times 2. Okay? And then all of my x's together, I have 9 and 5, so that would be x to the 14th. Alright, so now I'm looking for my pairs. Alright, so I have a pair of 2s. I have a pair of 3s. This 3 and this 2, they don't have pairs though, so we're going to leave those alone. And then x to the 14th, 14 divided by 2 divides perfectly into a 7. And then we're going to take the stuff that was left. So I have my 2 that was originally outside. And on the inside, I have a 3 times 2. And so now I just multiply stuff together. So here, 2 times 3 is 6, times 2 is 12. So for a coefficient, I have 12x to the 7th. And inside my radicand is 3 times 2, which is 6. So there we have it. That's how to multiply together two radical expressions. And remember, you can only do that when they have that same index, the same number right here on the radical. Until next time.